All right, welcome into Yellowhammer Radio. Cliff Sims, Scott Beeson, Big Jeff Myers.
What?
Phone lines are open, 866-551-9933.
You gave out phone numbers?
Why not? Why not? You know, if you're out there listening right now, I wish I had like a little alarm sound, Jeff, that we could make when it's just a warning that a rant may be coming. It's not a guarantee. It's kind of like a tornado siren, if you will.
Air raid siren.
It's like letting you know, hey, it's coming. Now it might hit you, it might not. I don't know, but it's coming.
So is the old hero of the patriarchy fired up today?
I'm back today. You know, I got inspired. I'm the red cape wearing hero of the
I forgot about
of
the
the
cape.
white male patriarchy, and it feels good. It feels good today. I feel better than usual. And listen, with all the white privilege that I enjoy, I feel good every day. So when I say that I'm feeling better today, that means
Do you get more white privilege if you're pasty? I mean, like if you put on more sunscreen at the beach, you got more privilege.
I'm the most white privileged guy you know. We went to the lake this weekend.
My card says I'm only good for like 50%.
I barely get white privilege because I'm clear. Like
You got to be a little white to get white
I barely
privilege.
even qualify for white privilege because I'm clear. But doggone it, I'm feeling good today. That is until
I can't go on.
I open up the old interwebs. And God bless Al Gore. We don't thank the man enough for inventing the interwebs. But I open up Al Gore's greatest invention today. Well, it's his greatest invention. His greatest observation was global warming, that this is happening and it's real and it's going to impact our lives. That's his greatest contribution to society.
That's true.
A close second being the interwebs. And I open up the interwebs and I see a study out there. The fine folks over at the Washington Post have highlighted a study showing that the grip strength, follow me now, the grip strength of college men. Now, I don't know if that's an oxymoron or not, but the grip strength of college men.
I do not even understand what he's saying. Who is he talking about? Men. What are men?
Right.
This is a new thing. Follow me.
It's that cisgendered heteronormal born male.
I need to talk to you about that because I'm not entirely sure of the definition of cisgender.
We're getting a handbook.
I'm not sure if you are cisgender or not. And before you go touting it, I think we should at least research
I
that.
always thought my cisgender was she was a girl, but again, I don't understand all this, and we're getting a handbook. Sorry.
Oh, so I'm watching the old Washington Post, and they got a study showing that the grip strength, like when you shake a man's hand, when you pick something up, when you're working on the car,
You're grabbing a
when
hammer.
you're doing work,
Shelling peas.
that's what you think of?
Milking a cow.
All right, Jeff, sit this one out.
He is from my
this-
area. That's important.
Petting your cat.
The grip strength of college men has declined significantly between the years of 1985 and 2016. In fact, if you're an average millennial male listening to this program right now,
Hey, guys.
your dad is a lot stronger than you are. In fact, you may not be stronger than the average millennial female.
No.
It's true.
No.
Now, you're the kind of person in generations past who your milk money would have been confiscated every single day at school.
If you keep a hold of it.
Your head would be swirled in the middle school bathroom every day. I mean, the very idea of manual labor is alien to you. If you were asked to help build something like, I don't know, like a back porch or something like that,
Put together your kids' toys.
the
Just
task
that.
would exhaust you to the point of uselessness. This, my friends, is the new masculine, or perhaps we should say post-masculine reality. Now, I'm reading from a great column over at the National Review by David French. And French took a look at this study and reacted honestly in about the same way that I am right
Is this the former presidential candidate?
yeah, who has briefly toyed with running for president, and then he went back to writing columns at the National Review.
So we're agreeing with him on this one.
On this one,
Okay.
the guy. So here's what it says. Indeed, the grip strength of a sample of college men had declined so much from 117 pounds to 98 pounds that it now matches that of older millennial women. In other words, the average college male has no more hand strength than a 30-year-old mom.
That explains when I was campaigning how many times you'd reach to shake the hand of a younger guy and be like, dude, you got to strengthen that up.
I'm telling you, this stuff matters. Now, people are laughing out there and carrying, and we're kind of having a good time with it. But I'm telling you, you can tell a lot by the way a man shakes a hand. All right? I just want to point out, and I hadn't brought this up in a couple of months, so go ahead and Ben Carson fans, get your email thing, get your hands ready. Get your sensitive little hands ready to send me an email and be upset about it. But when I shook Ben Carson's hand, it was like he placed a dead fish in my palm. And I said to myself, this man can't be president of the United States. And I'm sorry, I like Ben Carson, nice guy.
He needs soft hands. He's working in your brain,
This is
brother.
the same thing. You're preaching to the choir here. Mrs. Yellowhammer told me that over and over again. We had this.
You would think there'd be a compromise, though.
Again.
A little firm grip, you could still work on people's brains.
I'm telling you, if somebody puts it in your hand, it's like a cold, dead tuna.
Just a flop.
Just
Yeah.
in there, just sitting in there.
Oh, like old fish hand.
It's almost like they
That's
want
what
you
I'm
to-
saying, Jeff. Old fish hands. I brought it back up. People didn't like it. People didn't like it when I called him old fish hands.
Should be
but
judging people just by their handshake.
Now, did you say the average now is 98 pounds?
that's right. 98 pounds down from 117.
So now
in
98
just
pound
38.
weakling applies, but just for a different reason.
That's
That's because
right.
we quit having those commercials in the comic books. You don't have that picture anymore. That's what happened. We don't have that little 98-pound weakling. Cliff doesn't even know what we're talking about.
I'm upset about this. I'm getting myself all ginned up. I just think back to my childhood now, and look, I don't really claim. I'm not like a great handyman. I'm not like Mr. Fix-It around the house and those kind of things. But doggone it, I remember being in elementary school and going outside in 100-degree heat in Jackson, Mississippi, and cutting the dang grass
With a push mower.
with a push mower.
Not a pull itself.
No, and I took pride in it because I loved baseball. I wanted to be like the guys on the baseball field who could cut patterns in the yard.
So you did that, the crisscross
I mean,
and all that?
I didn't have a lot of patterns, but I wanted my lines to be straight.
Yes.
I wanted it to be immaculate. And doggone it, I was 10 years old out there in 100-degree heat, and I had just got done playing all over the neighborhood for 3 hours.
So your parents didn't care about your safety at all. Next time I see them, I'm going to have to ask them.
They didn't care.
They were subjecting you to heat exhaustion.
Mhm.
They were subjecting you to the ability to be abducted. And I bet you rode a bicycle without a helmet, too.
I did many times. Matter of
Oh.
fact, somebody hit me with the old stick in the bike trick.
Really?
Yeah, stick in the spokes trick when I didn't have a helmet on. You see that? You see this right? You probably can't see the scar right there, Scott. There's
It's clear. I
about
really can't.
about a dozen stitches right
Oh.
there. Bike accident.
I don't even know if when your parents
All
visit
these
again, I don't
teeth-
even know if I'm talking to them
See
again.
these teeth right here?
Yes.
Half of them aren't real. You know why? Because I was riding my bicycle, and I came down a drive that I didn't see a metal chain across the road.
Yes.
And I hit that metal chain in my bicycle, going as fast as I could downhill, knocked all my teeth out, and when I stood up, the first question I asked my dad was, am I still going to be able to play baseball?
That's a man.
Now, I'm just saying that there was a time when men were men, okay? I'm talking about my childhood, my formative years, but those were shaped by a man, my father, all right, who was a man. And now
Ronald Reagan was president.
Ronald Reagan was president, and I've been to the Reagan Ranch. And you want to know what Ronald Reagan did in his spare time at that ranch? He built with his bare hands every dang fence on that property. You sit outside, the famous picture of Ronald Reagan signing the biggest tax cut in American history. If you look in the background, there is wood fencing around him, and he's sitting in a porch. He built that porch with his bare hands and built every dang fence and the table that the tax cut is being signed on. He built them all with his bare hands. I'm just saying, there was a time in this country where men were men, and they were also the leaders of our country. And now we're at a point where we can't even have a conversation about men using the bathroom in the women's bathroom because, who's to say that they're a man? And you know what? For once, I might agree with them. I'm not sure if these people are men anymore. I'm not sure if men exist in American society today. And as I read this study, I can't help but think that this is just finally a mathematical explanation for what we have known for about 24 years now, and that is men are not allowed to be men anymore in this country. Like if a little boy's playing with a fire truck
Mm-hmm.
and a little girl wants to play with the fire truck too, or wait, let me put it to you this way. If a little boy had a Barbie doll,
Mm-hmm.
used to, he would probably be ridiculed for that in school. If he wanted to show up early to school, I remember in elementary school,
And
so
he brought
we
his
would show
Barbie
up
doll.
early. If a little boy brought a Barbie doll to school, he's getting made fun of. I'm sorry, he just was. Okay? Now I'm going to get phone calls about that I'm encouraging bullying right now.
Right.
No, what I'm saying is the reason why little boys played with the fire truck and wanted to be, wanted to do manual labor,
wanted to be- yes.
policemen, firemen. They loved G.I. Joe. They loved the whole thing. And little girls loved Barbie doll, and they loved playing house, and they loved all those things because they reinforced what are now known as traditional gender roles. Now that's oppressive nowadays.
Right.
You're oppressing little boys if you're not giving them the opportunity to explore and find out, you know what? Maybe little Johnny is actually little Jane at heart. He loves Barbie dolls because, you know what? He identifies with them. And we have to allow that to happen now.
Well, don't forget,
Used
we've
to, that
told
was
so
child
many little
abuse.
boys. We've told so many little boys that this is better. This is superior. You're a fully well-rounded individual. You'll be a good man if you are all off into all these feminist things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're just screwed up.
Now, I'm sorry for just getting going this morning, but this study has just set me off because I just think about, this scares me for our country. It really does. Because you know what? And then let's just get down to the brass tacks of it here. There was a time where America was going to come kick your butt. Like if you did something to the United States, go ask the Japanese what happens if you punch America in the mouth.
Right.
It was going to be a problem for you. After 9/11, I think it's the same thing. A lot of go ask Osama bin Laden. By God, it may take us a little while,
Right.
but ask us what happens if you punch America in the mouth. And I think that we are raising a new generation of kids right now that are not only that people look at this stuff on the micro level, like little Johnny's getting bullied. I'm thinking about when a generation of little Johnnies grow up and they're not men,
Right.
and somebody punches the United States in the mouth.
Who's gonna go defend 'em?
Who's going to go do it?
I know who's going to do it. The Southerners are going to do it. I'm telling you, this study, we've got some of those guys here, but I'm telling you that we don't have near as much as the rest of the country, and that's why they have to send the Southerners to save the rest of the little non-grippy boys' backsides. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We got kids now. There's a better chance. They may be amazing at Call of Duty. You know what that is? Scott, are you familiar with Call of Duty?
Yes. Video game.
I love a good video game. I like playing the NBA game on the video game. I don't necessarily have a problem with video games per se.
And you can play game after game and not really be hot or tired.
That's the thing. Their entire formative experience revolves around playing a game. I want you to just think about this. Imagine in your mind right now, Andrew Carnegie, the men who built America, right? So like the men who worked with their hands, the men who forged this country out of steel and rock and built it. All right, imagine like a coal miner standing straight and tall with his helmet on and his lantern. All right, now right in front of him, and imagine this guy's like early 1900s, late 1800s. Now standing right in front of him, I want you to imagine a World War I soldier, or even a World War II soldier, but especially World War I. When you think about the trench warfare,
Right.
the stuff that they went to, the grit and the grind of those guys, like what they went through. All right, now I want you to flash forward a little bit further. Let's go into like the Mad Men era that we
Okay.
see on TV. So like the American prosperity, what you think about like coming out of post-World War II, this just wave of prosperity sweeps the country. And you got a businessman, and he's standing up
Right.
straight, and he's got his suit on, and he's going to work. Now, over time, you see now what happens now. A lot of people, they work at their desk all day, and they sit
Right.
down, and their back's hunched over. So right in front of that person, imagine somebody with their back kind of hunched over, just pecking away at an early generation computer. And then in front of that person, I want you to imagine a man, and I use that term loosely, in his mid-30s, sitting Indian style on the floor in front of a TV with a video game in his hand, pecking away at the stupid keyboard. That's the progression that we have made here. From standing up tall, and I'm kind of painting this like, you know, that picture of evolution.
Yeah, the evolution thing from the gorillas to the man standing up, but now we're going the opposite way.
I'm saying we're heading in the opposite direction, and if it don't stop, it's not going to be a problem on the micro level for little Johnny who gets picked on, because he's not allowed to get picked on anymore for that kind of stuff. It's going to be a problem for all of us because there ain't no men left to lead us, much less go fight for us. We'll be back in a minute.
Where's my gun at?
This is Yellowhammer Radio.
Well, my daddy left home when I was 3, and he didn't leave much to Ma and me, just this old guitar and an empty bottle of booze. Now, I don't blame him because he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did was before he left, he went and named me Sue. Well, he must have thought that it was quite
Welcome back into the Yellowhammer Radio program. Cliff Sims, Scott Beeson, Big Jeff Myers.
I'm pretty sure this guy had pretty good grip strength.
He could, yeah, I would say so. Jeff, you made a good point in the break that I didn't think about.
Mm-hmm.
We got a whole generation of kids playing Call of Duty. You had an observation about that.
Yeah, it may desensitize them to killing, but the good news is they don't have the grip strength to pull a trigger.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a safety measure.
It's like, I can get the clip in the pistol, but I can't rack around.
It got the clip in by pounding it on the table.
Right.
Hey, Mom, can you pull this back for me?
I can't chamber around, Ma.
Oh, man, now don't call me about not knowing the difference between a clip and a magazine.
I know, we know.
Here we go.
fought
Here we
that
go.
one out
Sorry.
over and over and over.
Sorry.
Will you chamber around for me, Sally?
Sally. Patty, can you come do this? Pat can do it.
Right, little 8-year-old Sally's like, just give me that.
Jeff, as Scott pointed out in the break, that apparently millennial men are having less sex. And then, Jeff, you had another just perfect observation.
Can you blame him? It's a minefield out there. You don't know who you're talking to, what they want to be called. I mean, you can walk up and say, hey, girl, what's going on? Girl. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you just never know.
Who you calling girl?
It's like a
Can you
trap.
imagine the amount of anxiety that's creating in an
God, are
entire
you kidding me?
generation of young boys right now that they're not even sure? I mean, they're standing in the restroom next to somebody that 10 minutes ago they thought was the hottest chick in school.
Right.
Come to find out, you know.
I walked
He's a
in.
she. She's a he. Whichever way they do it.
I saw you across the room. I could have swore you were a woman.
Let's go back and play Call of Duty.
That's safe.
No wonder.
That's the safest. It's a
Safest
safe
you can
space.
do.
It sure is.
It's the safest place you could be is in front of that TV. My gosh. All right, let me take a couple of phone calls because why not? You know. Let's go to my man Ralph on line 1. Hey, Ralph.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Ralph.
Are you saying that the men these days are becoming more effeminate?
That's what it looks like. It's a scientific study. I mean, you know.
You know, and the ones I'm most leery of is those big macho guys that put on that macho attitude. You know what I mean? That's one I'm really leery of.
That's me, Ralph. Big macho muscular guy putting on that attitude.
Those
That's okay.
guys,
You don't have
really,
anything to worry about with me, brother.
Well, you know, I mean, that's ones I don't trust. Be around because I don't know they might want to grab me.
I mean, I can't help it. I mean, it came with the package. It's what God gave me. I mean, I'm a beast.
When I was growing up, they said the loudest one in the room was the softest one in the room.
Well, that could be
The
true
ones
too.
that you need to be scared of are the ones that ain't saying much, but then when it hits the fan, they're the ones that ready for action.
I'm going to confess. If I crashed my bike and all my teeth were out,
Those are
I'll be
ones that
like
run their mouth
crying like a baby.
brain.
I'm not worried about baseball. Oh,
All right,
Those are the guys who run their mouth all the time and don't run their brain.
Ralph, appreciate the call, buddy.
dang, Ralph.
Ralph's on a roll
You're
today.
just insulting
Let's
everybody.
get Mark on line 2. Hey, Mark.
Hey, you know, this is a great topic that you got going on here. But I'm going to tell you, I got a little story to tell you. But first, I'm going to say all of this started in the mid-'80s when we started having the feminization of men. You know, now I can say, talking to you gentlemen in that room right there where you guys are at the studio, these are men of Christ. Men of Christ know what the Bible says about men and what we're to do and how we're to be. Okay, but on with that, I'm like two of you in there. I think I've got a daughter. She's 17 years old. Since she was 15, we said you could go out on little dates as long as we go with you until you turn, 17 or 18. You know, and each one of these little boys that she'd bring home or bring home to me, because they always have to meet me first.
Good
I
plan.
would say that they got to shake my hand and look me in the eye if they're going to take you out, is what I said.
Yeah.
And the first one came along, and like you all were saying, I had this limp noodle in my hand. And I told my daughter after the movie, I told her, I said, you're not going out with that boy ever again. And she said, why? That's because he's got a limp noodle handshake. And she knows growing up with me how I've always talked about men after I shook in her hand. I said, God, that guy had a sweaty little noodle was all he had. You know?
Right.
So now when she has a boy she brings over here, she does a prerequisite with him and says, look, when you meet my dad, you have got to have a handshake.
That's what I'm talking about, Mark.
She introduced me to, he came up and he threw everything he had with his little vice grip. And I slapped it down on him. And when it was all over with, when she was at the movie with him, she goes, did you shake my dad's hand good? And he goes, yeah, but he crunched it. I think he broke my knuckle.
Hey, well, at least he was willing to go through with it. Good for him.
Yeah, he did it, but, he's still hanging in there. But, he's got some other things on me I got issues about.
Well, Mark, you hang in there, buddy. Appreciate the phone call.
You bet.
Good call, Mark.
That reminds me of when I met Mrs. Yellowhammer. Now, Mrs. Yellowhammer's dad is an Army helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
I had to bring my A game.
You were right.
Took me out on the
Walking
front
straight.
porch.
Yes, sir.
I flexed as hard as I could in that handshake.
And he was like,
I made it through. Yeah, he didn't care. I made it through, though. Back in a minute.
Deal.